there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joy. I am a licensed therapist, I'm an educator, and I am a mother, and I am a lover of learning. So I know a little bit about a lot of things and a lot about a lot of other things. And so I just like to share what I know and help people educate the masses. And I am kind of nerdy about all the things I talk about. So I enjoy talking about them, and I think people will benefit from knowing or having other perspectives of things. So today we're going to get into another topic that I think can help a lot of people, which is helping versus saving. A lot of people do not know the difference, and this is what makes it hard to have boundaries. People know they need boundaries, but don't have them. People think they have boundaries and they're not. People are unclear what boundaries are, how to use them, what to do with them, and all the things. And so I just want to kind of get into that as much as I can. So I will be using my notes. So if you want to take notes, go ahead and pause the video, grab you a pen and paper, and let's get into it. I will probably pose some questions to help you think about some things. But as usual, I am big on vocabulary because one of the hardest or most difficult things I see as a therapist is when it comes to articulating what you're feeling, thinking, even your experiences. Using the wrong language can hinder you from progress because you're just not talking about the right thing. You're not saying what you want to say. And I'm sure if that happens in therapy, where I'm there to understand you, that probably happens in your day to day life to other people, your loved ones who want to understand you but can't or don't because of the language you're choosing. Sometimes people are committed to misunderstanding you, but there are also other times we are not saying what we think we're saying or wanting to say, or not saying things in a way that other people can understand it. And that's not always your fault. But that's why I always go over definitions in my videos specifically, so that one, it minimizes bias, but two, to help you think about the words you're using when you're talking about certain things. So just giving you some background because I over explain everything. Okay. So the first definition we're going to start with today is boundaries. This is, I believe, a Googleable definition. These are not my definitions. These are definitions I looked up. So I'm not taking credit for anything. If this is your definition, you should be able to find the same or similar definition as well. Okay, so the first word, boundaries. Boundaries are the personal limits and rules individuals set for themselves to define what is acceptable in their physical and emotional space, ensuring their well being and defining their identity in relationships or within relationships. So, some key components in this definition: personal limits. That's where your threshold is, what you can and cannot tolerate. Based on that information, what you can't tolerate or refuse to tolerate for personal reasons, religious reasons, you don't like it, it doesn't make you feel good. You need to know what your personal limits are. Like, how do you feel when you walk away from certain conversations or certain people? When you said no, did it make you feel better or worse? Or did you say yes and regret it later? That means you're probably outside of your personal limits. And it says, so personal limits and rules individuals set for themselves. Heavy on the themselves, all caps, circle it, underline themselves, meaning you. This is for you, nobody else. And that's important because when it comes to boundaries, people struggle with it because people set them thinking how other people will feel. You're doing it wrong already. You're already going the wrong way. It's not about them. And let me tell you, because I don't want you to be blatantly disrespectful or rude to people, but when you do things that don't no longer benefit other people, when you always have, they're gonna be upset. So I get a lot of clients that are like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or I just feel bad. Right now, you feel bad, and and they don't care. Like, that's not funny, but you can't please everybody, and you can't make everybody happy, and you definitely shouldn't be doing it at the expense of your own sanity or happiness. And that's what I want you to get. That's why the boundary is important. If you're doing everything to make everybody feel good at the expense of you feeling the worst, you're not doing it right. And so themselves is you. You are to prioritize yourself, your well-being. That was another word in the definition. And say, I don't have the capacity to. I just don't want to. No is a complete sentence. I don't believe you should explain everything. I think depending on your relationship with certain people, you can explain the boundary like, hey, I don't like this, or please do not do this anymore. And they may do it anyway. And you can't say, oh, well, I tried and they don't care. If you're continuing to give them the same access to you or interacting with them in the same capacity, you are not even respecting your own boundary. So that's the other thing. People feel like, oh, nothing works. Or when I talk to my parent, that's when it comes up a lot. They don't respect my boundaries. Do you respect your boundaries? When you say people are not allowed to yell at you, do you tolerate people yelling at you? Do you stay on the phone? Do you continue the conversation? Do you go back and hang with them? Do you respect your own boundaries? Because they are for you to protect you. Because if you have them to protect yourself, anyone who loves you and cares about you healthily will respect it. That even if it's an inconvenience for them, if it's for the best interest of you, they will respect it. They will try to respect it. They will work on those things. They will try to change. And so if they're like F your boundaries, you need to reconsider that relationship, because why would they not do something that would benefit you or for the betterment of yourself if you've said it? But again, you don't also owe anybody an explanation. You just say, don't yell at me. And if they continue to yell, you need to walk away, hang up the phone, get off. And you can do that politely or you cannot, because they're not respecting your boundary. You can say, oh, I'm going to let you go. Hey, I'll just talk to you another time. Or you could just hang up. I'm not saying curse anybody, yell, because you've done that already. And they're still doing it. Because guess what? When you react emotionally and yell and cry and you melt down, you give power to them. And guess what? They're still yelling, and you've endured it to the point that because these people do not respect that boundary, they continue. And it's like, you say you don't want them doing this thing, but you let them. Is that wrong? Yes. I'm not saying it's your fault you let them, but I'm saying the frequency or the duration in which you endure these things, you have to take accountability of, if you don't like the thing and they don't stop, why do you keep allowing it? At some point you have to say, they're not going to stop, so I'm going to do something differently since they're going to continue. And maybe that's removing yourself from the situation, the job, whatever it is. So again, the keyword themselves, all caps, underline, circle, highlight it, put some stars by it, an asterisk or two. Are you prioritizing yourself when you're coming up with this rule for yourself based on the limits you have of what you can tolerate? Another part of the definition, this is physical and emotional space. Sorry. If you don't want people in your face, that's your choice. That's your prerogative. If you feel like, oh, please back up a couple inches, couple feet, you're too close, and then be like, and they still in your face. And this does not mean they're yelling or anything, but if you're just like uncomfortable because they're physically too close to you, you back up, you step to the side or whatever, or you say, I gotta go. Whatever. It doesn't have, it can be emotional or physical. So again, if they're doing things that don't make you feel safe or feel good or feel loved, and that's different when it comes to like constructive criticism. If you know that person means it well, but it's just hard to hear. I'm not talking about those. Remember, there's always exceptions to the rules. I'm saying in general, when it comes to negative stuff and safety and things like that, if you feel physically unsafe or emotionally unsafe, there should be a rule around it, and you should be respecting your own rule around it. And if you're not respecting it, most other people won't. There are people who will notice and that are genuine and will say like, oh, I notice you always make this face or you do this thing. Does that make you uncomfortable? Or, hey, if that bothers you, I won't do it anymore. There are people like that. It's like 6 people. It's not many people. So the average person may not do that. That does not mean other people will not respect your boundaries, but you also should not hold people accountable to a boundary you haven't explicitly stated or mentioned. But when it comes to like blatant disrespect, I don't sometimes like it should go without saying. But if this is a situation you've been in for a long time, people may not know there is a boundary around it because you've never said anything and it's been going on for years. And therefore you could, especially if you want to continue the relationship, give them the courtesy of saying like, hey, no more of that. I don't like that. I don't want to do that anymore. I, whatever it is, you're allowed to change your mind. And don't feel guilty. Don't be pitying people. Don't be putting yourself at risk at the pity of other people, because who's pitying you? Nobody. So remember, your well-being is important. And this, in the last part of that definition, said defining your identity within that relationship. So what role do you play? What do you tolerate? What are the dynamics of that relationship? Is there yelling? Is there cursing? Is there physical abuse? Is there cheating? Is there lying? Is there scandals? Is there stealing? Like, how do you show up in this relationship, and how do you want that person to show up for you, all comes within those boundaries. Okay. So boundaries, the personal limits and rules individuals set for themselves to define what is acceptable in their physical and emotional space, ensuring their well-being and defining their identity within relationships. The next definition is what it means to help, because remember, we're talking about helping versus saving. And a lot of people are saving, calling it help, and that's why you're in this cycle where you can't get out of it and don't know what to do when you're burned out, or you're depleted of your resources or capacity or emotions because you give, but this person still needs you. If they still need you, you have not helped them. You may have hindered them, and I know that's hard to hear. You may be enabling their neediness or their codependency or their lack of grit or determination to do things on their own because you always do it for them, and therefore you did not help them. Because if it was genuine help, they would not need you anymore. They would know what to do moving forward. Okay. I know that's a little harsh, but we just got to keep it real. So here's a definition of help that I found and want to use for this point today. So to help is to make it easier for someone to do something by offering one services or resources, which is fine. I'm not against helping people. I'm just saying sometimes when you say help, you're saving people. So I don't think we all need help sometimes. We're all human. We all need somebody or something at some point, and there's nothing wrong with that. So also when you help, it's to improve. Keyword improve. Remember what I just said. If they keep coming back, they keep needing you, nothing must have improved. Maybe temporarily in that moment you created relief, but this says to improve a situation or problem. Not relieve of a problem, but improve a situation or problem, or to be of benefit to someone or something. Help can also be to assist someone or something to move in a specified direction, helping them get a job, helping them with their resume, helping them when they just had a baby, helping them when they just got out of the hospital. You do things for these people. No problem with helping. I'm not against helping. Another part of the definition was to serve. You can also serve someone with food. When you work at like for Thanksgiving, they do like food drives, or you can volunteer at the food bank. You can help in that way. They do meal trains. Help. It's very, very simple. To help someone out, do something for someone that benefits them, to improve a situation or problem. Okay. Now let's move on to saving. To save someone or something means to keep safe or rescue. Heavy on rescue, because a lot of people are rescuing people from their karma, from their consequences, from their poor choices, and calling it help. But you didn't hear anywhere in the definition of help the word rescue. But under save, it says keep safe or rescue someone or something from harm or danger. And these people, the only danger is their mindset sometimes. Saving can also be to preserve from harm. And some other words they gave was rescue, protect, reserve, redeem, prevent, because y'all preventing them from learning or growing and learning from their mistakes because you keep getting in the way, talking about you just want to help. So saving people from their karma, and also interfering with lessons God may be trying to teach them. And I am so guilty of that. And I've been redeemed. I've retired from doing that, because you be getting away and you gonna feel the heat too. You're gonna be in hell right along with them, because you need to move out the way so God can do whatever they're gonna do. And if you don't believe in God, you can ignore that last point. Okay? So where are you in those definitions? What do you be doing? This situation you're stuck in, and everything I say is not applied to romantic relationships. I ain't on here giving relationship advice. I am going to make a video about relationships when it comes to being in therapy, but I'm not telling nobody who to marry and not to marry. Use your discretion based on the information. Make an informed decision based off the information I'm presenting. Okay. And so if you were in a situation where you're just like, I can't afford to help them anymore, how long have you been helping them, and why do they still need your help? Why do they still need help? And I said, why they still need your help. Why do you have to be the one to help them? And is it your help? Should you be the one helping them? Why can't somebody else help them? Why isn't anyone else helping them? Are they even asking anybody for help? Are they even trying? Or are they just asking you because you're going to do it? Are you getting played? Are you getting used and abused, but you like being needed? You like being able to help everyone because it makes you feel good, because it's filling a void or a wound you have that you need to deal with? Because a lot of people like being needed, and that's why codependent relationships exist. There's somebody who always needs something, and there's somebody who likes to do something for everybody else, because a lot of times we save people because we want somebody to save us, or we try to save people from what we've been through, or we save people hoping that we can save an older version of ourselves when no one else did it. You need to go see somebody about that if that resonates with you. That's not how it's supposed to go. You do things out of the goodness of your heart without expecting in return. But also, I like to, if you think of it this way when it comes to helping someone, I don't remember who said this. You might, and you can put it in the comments. But if you think of it in this situation, I just think this paints the most clear picture of this. Say if someone comes to you and say, I need money for my light bill. Let's just start something small. I need money for a light bill. And depending on your relationship with this person, you might say like, hey, what happened? You make really good money. Because here's my thing. I don't think you should judge anybody, but I think if people's going to interfere with your finances, you have a right to get in their finances. That's my personal belief, and I'm not asking anybody to agree with me. I'm just saying, you interfering with my budget because something's going on with your budget or the lack of having a budget, I feel like I'm entitled to ask questions. Now, I don't think you should condemn anybody and be like, well, why would you do that? And you shouldn't have done that. Just say no. But if you make more money than me or whatever, and now you need help from me, which is going to make my money tighter if I decide to help you, right? If your money's tight, say no. But what's going on? And I also think it's important to ask what's going on to know if you're about to help them or save them. That's going to help you, because if they say, oh, I had this unexpected medical bill or something came up, this ran through my account, I wasn't, stuff happens. Stuff happens. People need help sometimes, and it's legitimate. And you're like, oh, yeah, that wasn't preventable. I understand why you ain't got no savings. But in this economy, a lot of people don't have savings. They're not an excuse because you need to have one. But, you might say like, oh, I totally understand. And maybe you can offer some support of like, yeah, moving forward, here are some apps you can use that do this, or there's some banking options, or you can actually call your credit card and ask for this, or ask the bank to reverse this fee, or you can give them something so they're not in this situation again. Because if you're not careful and you don't ask questions, and these people just traveling, buying stuff, eating out, whatever they're doing, which is their business, but their problem is not your problem. Their emergency is not your emergency. And so if they are mishandling their money because they know they can just ask someone for money, you're part of the problem. They need to feel it. They need to see like, oh, I just can't ask people for money. I really need to start budgeting my money better. I need to stop eating out. So I just want you to consider things from that perspective of, if they keep coming back to you, they've learned nothing, and therefore you did not help them. You're part of the problem. You're feeding into their addictive behaviors, whatever it is, shopping, spending, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. But you're not helping them get out of the situation. You're just kind of putting a band-aid over something that needs surgery, so to speak. And so just consider, like, and sometimes the help is they say, oh, I need money. Maybe you say, oh, I actually need my yard cut, or, oh, can you come paint my walls, or can you do my hair? And that way they're still earning the money, so they're not giving them something for free. So you're reiterating the the point of, nothing's gonna be freely given to you. Don't just come over here just asking me for money all willy-nilly. And also, don't loan out more money than you can afford to give away. That's law. Because you may not get it back. You don't know when you're gonna get it back. You don't know how much of, and to just avoid all that, if you know your budget only allow you to give $20 and they need 200, you give 20. Don't give 200 and just think, oh, by the time you need it, you're gonna get it back. Because I got somebody that owed me money from almost 2 years ago now. So, and it's not cool because when you need it, where you gonna get it from? Because a lot of people who be saving instead of helping don't have anybody to save them, and that's why I said go see somebody if you know you fall into this trap. So, no judgment for me. I hope this helps clear that up. I hope you figure out tough love is hard, but I'm asking you to love yourself more than you love being liked, or more than you love being desired, or more than you love pleasing other people, because it's not helping you and it's also hurting other people. So make better decisions. Just try, start somewhere. Figure out what your personal limits are first, whether that's financially, emotionally, physically, whatever, all of the above, and then make some rules around it that protect you, not protect other people. And know that other people may not like it, they may not agree with it, they may question it. You do not owe anybody an explanation. Your boundaries are for you, and the people who respect that, that says a lot about them, not you. So hope this helps.